I'm Michelle Mealy, Education Coordinator and Certified Consumer Credit Counselor for Springboard.
Welcome to the Power of Paycheck Planning, brought to you by Springboard Nonprofit Consumer Credit Management. Just a little bit about Springboard. We've been in business for over 30 years. We provide personal assistance with money, credit, and debt management through educational programs and confidential counseling. We are accredited by the Council on Accreditation, members of the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. We are certified by the Housing and Urban Development and members of the Better Business Bureau. Our services include credit and debt counseling, financial educational programs, which include seminars and materials. We offer debt management plans, homeowners assistance, first-time homebuyer educational workshops, reverse mortgage counseling for seniors 62 years of age and older, and the required pre-bankruptcy budget and credit counseling and discharge financial management instructional course. When you have a moment after the completion of this course, visit our website and browse to the many other workshops, books, and materials that Springboard provides. Let's get started. Surveys show only 12% of high school seniors learn about money management. It has been up to the parents to provide financial education to their children. Most of us learn to manage our finances the hard way, and that is after we have moved out, taken out credit, exhausted bank accounts, and made other costly mistakes in our spending plan. During this course, we will learn how to get back on track. There are some steps that we need to take first. As we know, nothing can ever work and be fixed properly if we do not have a solid foundation. So we're going to have to start with some first steps. Number 1, stop incurring new debt. No more borrowing money and using credit cards. A budget or spending plan cannot work if you are working against it, taking out loans that you must pay back. Which brings us to number 2. Live on a cash basis. Every purchase you make will be with cash until you can get used to using your budget plan. And number 3, get a handle on your situation. Sit down with your spouse first and discuss how much you are spending on monthly bills. Use your utilities, credit cards, loan statements, and also your checkbook register. Then take what you have discussed and talk to your children about your spending habits. And number 4, relax and take one day at a time. Nothing is going to be perfect right away. You will find yourself doing good one week and falling short the next. The most important thing is to notice it and get back on track. Whatever you do, don't give up. Now that we have our foundation, we can begin our budget. The definition of a budget is a spending plan to figure out where your money goes before you get it. Knowing where your money goes is the first key to a successful budget. There are 2 things you need to know in order to create your budget, and that is how much do you earn and how much do you spend. Most people can tell you to the penny how much each paycheck will be, but if you ask what they spend, they cannot give you a solid answer. We pay our rent and utilities and find that there is money left over, but this money tends to be spent as well, and there is no tracking of where it was actually spent. We are now going to start tracking our spending. We recommend that you track your spending for at least 90 days. Write down every expenditure, big and small. The main objective is to track where your money's going. If you track your spending faithfully, there will be some surprises. You'll learn that you are spending money in ways you never realized. If you have your Power of Paycheck Planning workbook, on pages 6 and 7, we have provided tracking sheets for your use. You may decide to use other forms such as a small notebook, the envelope method, whereas every time you spend, you place the receipts in an envelope and categorize them later, or you can use a computer software such as Microsoft Money or Quicken. Whatever method you feel comfortable using, it is entirely up to you. Most tracking sheets normally include the following expenses: housing, food, insurance, medical, auto, child support, taxes, personal care, and savings. It's hard to say what is normal when it comes to spending. When we look at some national averages, we can get ideas on what a typical household spends on food, housing, transportation, health care, entertainment, and clothing. Let's create your budget. There are 3 things you need to know: your income, expenses, and your goals. The most important thing to remember about assessing your income is that you must include every source. That includes your job, your spouse's job, any part-time jobs, rentals, commission and bonuses, child support or alimony, and even your investments. Next, we're going to categorize your expenses. The 2 most important categories of expenses are needs and wants. Necessary expenses are your needs. Discretionary expenses are your wants. The rule to bear in mind is this: anything that is necessary for you to earn a living is a need. Our necessary expenses include housing, utilities, taxes, and insurance, food, medical, dental, or life insurance, medical, transportation, child care, taxes, and savings. Discretionary expenses are personal care, clothing, jewelry, entertainment, that includes our cable TV, miscellaneous such as pet care, gifts, cell phone, cigarettes and alcohol, charitable giving, and internet access. Periodic expenses, which do not happen every month, include insurance premiums, taxes, DMV registration, and gift giving. Another category of expenses are your debt payments. This includes your credit card payments, personal loans, student loans, and any other debt payments. After you divide your necessary expenses from your discretionary expenses, you aren't done categorizing your spending. You should separate your monthly debt payments. This usually takes the form of a credit card bills, auto loan repayments, and personal loans would also count. Take each debt and figure out a monthly payment amount that will allow you to pay off your debts as quickly as possible. For your credit cards, don't just send the minimum monthly payment. If you do, you'll be paying toward that debt for the next 30 years. For example, say you owe $6,000 on a credit card. Over 4 years, you'd pay $125 per month to wipe out the debt. If that amount is too large for your budget, you can adjust the payoff term to something longer like 5 years. Then you only have to pay $100 a month. Whatever you do, don't stretch out the payoff term so much that you'll just be making the minimum payments. The purpose of creating a budget is to set goals. There are 3 types of goals: short-term, mid-range, and long-term. A short-term goal should be accomplished in 1 year. For example, taking a vacation. A mid-range goal takes between 2 to 5 years, for example, saving for a car. And an example of a long-term goal, which takes 5 years, is saving for retirement, home, or college. When setting your goals, you should know the target date, total needed, and how much to save per month to reach your goal. For example, if you were taking a vacation in December and the vacation costs $1,200 and you are beginning to save in January, you will have approximately 12 months to save. You would divide $1,200 by 12 and the amount you would need each month is $120. To make creating a budget a little bit more challenging, try some goal strategies, such as competition. Maybe your goal can be to pay off more debt than a spouse this month. Cooperation, getting everyone involved, like clipping coupons together once a week. Keep trying, and don't be too flexible. Set a firm goal and strive for it. Now it's time to put all your expenses together. Remember to add your short, mid, and long-term goals as an expense on your monthly budget sheet. Did your budget balance? Subtract your expenses from your income. Did you have a surplus or a deficit? If you found that you had a deficit, then your next step is to work to find solutions. Contact a credit counseling agency to help with high debt payments that are upsetting your budget. You may also cut back on some discretionary expenses yourself. Continue to try and put 10 to 15% in your savings. You need to save up to 3 to 6 months of income to get through an emergency. The two emergencies we cannot predict are major car repairs and medical bills. Also, you want to periodically reevaluate your budget when income or needs change. Here is how your spending plan should be calculated. The ranges indicated reflect income levels, family size, and personal choice. It is not a mistake that the percentages do not add up to 100. Everyone's finances are different. Now that you are familiar with your income, expenses, and goals, it is time to propose a monthly budget. On page 20 of your workbook is a budget sheet for you to plug in those numbers. Continue to track your spending for another 30 to 60 days. See how well you stuck to it and where your budget has leaks. If you find you have left out something, plug it in. Know the difference between your wants versus your needs. Always ask yourself a question before you purchase. How did I get along without it? And plan ahead to curb those impulse buys. Include your whole family in your budget decisions. The number one budget buster is food. If you go over your budget, chances are that you are dining out too often. Dining out is 5 times more expensive than making it yourself. People often spend more than they plan on entertainment because of the impulse nature of it. Have an entertainment fund. Discuss with your family what each person likes to do individually and what you like to do as a family, and stick to it. Finally, retail shopping. The most common type of overspending is paying too much for things. Comparison shop and keep an eye out for sales and promotions. There are ways to increase income and reduce expenses. Make sure you control your money and not the other way around. You will have to rework your budget as your needs, priorities, income, and expenses change. Here are some tips to reduce expenses for you and your home. One way is to get a home energy audit every couple of years with your utility company to find ways to cut costs. Hang clothes out to dry. Shop at garage sales. Could a relative or friend provide low-cost daycare? For your phone, review your telephone service costs. Cancel all extra charges. Drop your long-distance carrier and use your cell phones. Another way to reduce expenses is to shop with coupons. Coupons can be a valuable tool to help save money, but you have to be careful not to get caught up in the advertising devices designed to get you to purchase name brand items when it still becomes more expensive than the store brand. You can find coupons in the Wednesday and Sunday newspapers. Also, grocery stores usually send their ads in the mails weekly. Also, you can go online and print coupons on the following websites: couponcabin.com, ebates.com, keycode.com, and ecoupons.com. Have time set aside to cut coupons and store them in categories. Sort them according to food and non-food items, by product, and if you are familiar with where things are by aisle in the grocery store, this would also save you some time. Some other helpful tips are to don't shop when hungry. Make a list from the newspaper ads, write down what you are paying, and keep a running total. Planning ahead can make all the difference when retail shopping. Use a calendar on page 29 of your workbook to find seasonal sales or discounts. We hear the media speak a lot on compulsive shopping. Most shopping is not compulsive, but actually impulsive, which means you see something and just suddenly want it. It isn't planned or budgeted. Compulsive shoppers have a more serious problem. They can't stop shopping. They buy things they don't need or really want. Their spending is an attempt to reduce anxiety or depression. Here are the 10 signs of a compulsive shopper. The FACT Act of 2003, and FACT stands for Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act, mandated that the three major credit reporting agencies establish a website, toll-free number, and mailing address to consumers to request their credit reports for free once every year. Reports do not come with a score. You may purchase your score for a small fee. The web address is www.annualcreditreport.com and the phone number is 877-322-8228. Also, another way you can receive your credit report for free is if you have been denied credit because of what your credit report says. You will receive a letter from the company who denied your application stating the reason for denial. This letter is called an adverse action letter. You have 60 days from the date of this letter to contact the credit bureau to receive your free report. The websites for the credit bureaus are listed below. If you would like to stop receiving offers of new credit, you may opt out.